Here we go. Anabolic Academy on serious and silliness bodybuilding. I think this is my favorite because I get to answer questions and interact with people from social media that watch my content because I appreciate all the questions. I appreciate the support. I appreciate people that watch my content. So, if you are first tuning in to Anabolic Academy on serious and silliness bodybuilding, what it is, or what is it? Do I rerun from what's happening? Anyway, you send me questions. I answer them about bodybuilding, fitness, or pretty much any topic you'd like. But obviously, the majority of the questions are bodybuilding and fitness. How can you reach me? Serious and Silliness Instagram, John Livia Facebook, John Livia TikTok. My email, John underscore Livia at Yahoo, or my other email, Uncle John 1201 at Gmail. Or if you see me in person, just ask me and I'll answer it on here. I'll answer it in person, then I'll answer it on here. Anyway, before we get started, I want to show you guys a website. Okay. This is a new website, and I don't even think it's a month old. It's eqno.com, www.eqno.com. And these are peptides. All right. And you can see the peptides that are for sale. These are for research purposes only. But you have semaglutide, you have tirzepatide, and you have retatrutide. And everybody knows semaglutide is the generic form of Ozempic. He also sells the water, and this is actually really inexpensive for these products. And here's the best part: you can actually get 10% more off these products if you use my discount code John JOHN. So it's $129 for like a bottle of semaglutide. You take another 10% off, and you're looking at about $116. And you're good. You're gonna get 10% off even if you buy the water that you need for the peptides as well. So I don't know, check it out. See if you guys are interested. I know it is very inexpensive. And don't forget, discount code JOHN. All right. Now to the questions. The first question was in the comments from YouTube in my Anabolic Academy last week. So this goes to Jaden Big Sandy 2711 from YouTube. How do you handle having friends or family with obesity, overweight problems when you are the fitness guy in the family? That's actually a really good question because I'm the only fitness guy in the family. I'm the only fitness guy amongst the guys I hang out with. It's actually, you know what I do, man? I don't talk about it. I don't talk about fitness. I don't talk about bodybuilding. I don't talk about the gym. I don't talk about my YouTube channel about bodybuilding. I don't talk about it. The only time I talk about it is if they're interested, if they want to know. And normally, what happens is one person will pull me aside or give me a call because they're actually serious about losing weight or getting in shape, and they kind of don't want to do it in front of everybody else, right? So I've had family members that have given me a call. I've had friends that have called me or pulled me aside, or guys from work that caught me and pulled me aside, and I'm happy to help. Number one, I love talking about it. Number two, if there, I know that if you're talking to me in person, in private, in confidence, that you're serious. So I'll definitely help, right? But like, I know this is a little strange, but every year my cousin and her husband, they have a 4th of July party, and they have a beautiful house and an in-ground pool in the back, and the whole family goes and they make a bunch of food. And of course, everybody goes in the pool and has a good time. I don't go in the pool. I will not take my shirt off. I do not go in the pool. Because my entire family is out of shape. I'm Italian. My entire life revolved around food. From the minute I was born, everything was about food till today. It's about food. So the majority of the people in my family are out of shape, overweight. I wouldn't say obese. I mean, in the strictest form, it's obesity, but not, they're not like bedridden, but they're fat. All right. Or they're out of shape. So I won't even go in the pool. I won't even take my shirt off and go in the pool. Okay. And they make fun of me for it, but I tell them, no, I'm not doing it. And then I just don't talk about it, man. You gotta be, you gotta be well balanced. You got to be able to talk about other subjects besides fitness and bodybuilding because then you become obnoxious and people don't want to be around you. It's all you talk about. Believe me, there are plenty of people that do that. That's all they talk about. And even I get sick of it. Like, Jesus, we could talk about another topic, right? But that's how I handle it. I don't talk about it. I don't take my shirt off in front of family. I don't show off, and I talk about whatever topic they're interested in talking about. Anyway, okay, let's get to the next question. So I got a bunch of questions. Of course, I got a whole bunch of questions from Fon is the man because he never misses because he is the man. But I have one question from Savage underscore Sean01 on Instagram. Favorite cycle. Okay. My favorite cycle when I was like trying to build muscle bulking would always be some kind of testosterone would be, most of the time I've always preferred sus. Sustanon, I would use Deca because I would be training heavy, so I would need that for joints. And then I would use D-ball. I always got good results from D-ball. I never got great results from Anadrol. I always got better results from D-ball. Um, I would do 750. This is back when I was like trying to put muscle on. I don't do this anymore, but I would do 750 to 1,000 milligrams of testosterone. I would do 600 milligrams of DECA, and I would do 50 to 100 milligrams a day of D-bol. And obviously, the 1,000 milligrams of sus would be once a week. Well, I'd pin myself, 500, 500, whatever. And then the DECA would also be, I'd pin myself several times throughout the week, but it would be 1,000 milligrams per week of test and 600 milligrams a week for DECA. Now, if I wanted to get lean, if I was competing, it was different. But let's say I just wanted to get in shape and I wasn't competing that year, or whatever the case may be, I would take out DECA. I wouldn't use DECA. I would use Tren. Um, Most of the Tren and Antate, because it's just easier. Like you don't have to hit yourself every other week, every other day. Jesus, I'm like in La La Land today. You don't have to hit yourself every other day. So that would be about 300 milligrams a week of Tren. I would still do 750 or 1,000 milligrams of test. And then if I did an oral, it would be Turinabol. Turinabol always gave me good reaction. I always got a good reaction. It got me like hard and vascular and like deep cuts. If I was competing, I would use that. But then obviously, when the time came, and the Turinabol would be 50 to 100 milligrams a day, obviously. And if I was competing and the time came, then we're talking about, I would throw in Masteron, I would throw in Halotestin, I would throw in obviously growth, so on and so forth. Now I don't. So those are my favorite. So those are my three. I never really went past three compounds unless I was real. I was digging in pre-contest mode, like I was getting ready for a show. And I would always do two compounds in an oral. That was just my preference. But now it would be now all I do is GH. I do 4 units of GH a day and about 500 milligrams a week of test. That's it. That's all I do now. So those were my favorite cycles. You know what's so funny is some people react so good to some compounds and some people react, so like I know I've said this before. I know people that love EQ and I just never got a good reaction from it. I know people that love Anadrol. I never got a great reaction from it. Both of them were like so. I always got a better reaction from D-bol or a better reaction from DECA, and I've had people I know friends and guys that I've went to the gym with or competed with or whatever. They love Anadrol. They Jason Owens when he was competing loved Anadrol. I've had friends that loved EQ. It was just it just never. I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody reacts differently. So that's basically it. Okay, next question, and the rest of the questions are all from Fran is the man. Now, first question from Fran is the man. In your opinion, who's the most overrated and underrated bodybuilder today? All right. So obviously, I'm going to get some shit for this, but I don't care. My opinion of the most overrated bodybuilding. I think now this is not a knock on them personally. What I think about them as a bodybuilder. I think Hunter Labrada is overrated. Um, I don't think he's going to be able to break the top five this year, if I'm accurate. The new guys coming up, like the guys we just saw, the Mo Food in Chicago. I mean, they're getting better and better and better. He always has kind of a. I'm just not a big fan of his structure, of his structure and his shape. Another guy I think is overrated. I think Andrew Jack is overrated. I think once he comes in hard, he's very shallow in the hamstrings and glutes. He can't seem to really get that hard, grainy detail in them. And I think I don't know, but we all wanted to see him kind of explode with size because he has such a big frame. And he has a beautiful X frame. Don't get me wrong, but then he turns around and you go, and I think if he would be able to put more size on, he would be able to you'd be able to see the striations and that hardness when he does diet down and with his hamstrings and his glutes and his lower back, which that's where he always has a problem with. Ever since I saw Samson Dowda and because they have a similar physique, but Samson just puts so much size on in like a short period of time in a couple of years, and then we're always waiting for Andrew Jack to do that, right? Now the reason why I'm saying they're overrated is because they're always in the top 10 in the Olympia, and eyes are on them. There are guys that are obviously not as good as Hunter and not as good as Andrew Jack, but they don't break the top 10. They can't win a pro show, so on and so forth. It's so I'm just going by the guys that are successful, if you will, but I believe to be overrated. Now, underrated, who I think the most underrated bodybuilder is, honestly, I think Kerith Baggio is underrated. I don't think he should have lost to. I thought he could have taken third, second, or third in the Olympia. I think he has great shape, great flow. He comes in. I think he's a flawless bodybuilder. Um, I who took third last year? Last year it was we talked about it in the interview. I'm fucking stunad. I mean, really, I just have a brain fart today. I can't think of the guy's name. Angel Calderon. I don't think he should have lost to Angel. Angel Calderon has a tremendous amount of muscle on his frame. He comes in shape, but he just doesn't have that beautiful physique that Kerith Baggio. Who else do I think is underrated? Let's see. Let me think of somebody in the open who I think is underrated that falls through the cracks. That's a tough question because for the most part they get it right, right? I mean, but I'm trying to think of somebody that falls through the cracks that people think, oh, oh, I always thought Ian Valier was overrated. I always thought Ian was overrated. I was never a big fan of Ian Valier's physique, but okay, that's so underrated. So I had Kerith in the 212, and who do I have in the open for underrated? That's a rough one, man. Oh, maybe Rafael Brandao. I mean, I know he's not underrated in Brazil, but I think with his structure, he could probably place better in shows like uh the Olympia and the Arnold. You know, who's underrated? You know what? Forget Rafael Brandel. John De La Rosa is underrated, very underrated. John De La Rosa is a tremendous bodybuilder who comes in shape. He has great flow and structure, and he's got a ton of muscle. John De La Rosa is very underrated. Okay, good. Glad we got that done. Let's see. Okay, next question from Fran is the man. If Planet Fitness reached out and wants to sponsor you, would you accept it? Yes. Listen, I got no sponsors. Nobody's put money in my hand. So anybody wants to give me money, it's fine. I know they have a problem with trans people in the women's bathroom, and I know they are a gym that I would never go to. But if they're gonna pay me, man, money talks, everything else walks. You want to change my opinion? Pay me. Actually, I wouldn't even change my opinion. I would let them run a commercial, and then I would say it's still a shit gym, but they're paying me, so you might as well go. No, honestly, Planet Fitness is a very good gym for people who want to get in shape, kind of don't want to be in the gym with guys like me or guys like that are on my panel that are big and strong and intimidating. I mean, last week, this is really funny. Last week there was a girl who had like this string hanging off her the back of her yoga pants, and she was dragging it. So I went over to her. I said, turn around. You got this string here. I thought the girl was going to shit. I was like, I'm just telling you, you got this thing dragging. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this long, I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was something, but just something that was attached to it. You know what I mean? It happens. You ever walk out of the bathroom and you got toilet paper on your foot and people are like, oh shit, you got toilet paper on your foot. So I was telling the girl, you got this thing hanging off of you. And I thought she was just a turn. She pulled it off and turned around and ran and walked away. I'm like, Jesus Christ, forget it. So next time I'll try to be nice. Holy shit. But you're not going to get guys like that in Planet Fitness that deadlift 500 pounds and squat and grunt and sweat. And it's going to be regular people that kind of just want to go and try and get in shape. So in that case, it's beneficial. And when guys want to get in shape, I tell them to go to Planet Fitness because it's like $10 a month or $20 a month, and there's nobody there like me. And that's it. Okay, next question from Fran is the man, because Fran is the man, because Fran is the man. Would you rather be strong but look weak, or be weak and look strong? I think I know where you're going with this. I have seen guys in the gym, and it's strange. I have seen guys in the gym that don't look like they have a lot of muscle, but they bench 3 plates for reps. And it's like, damn, where'd that come from? Or guys that don't have a lot of muscle and they're squatting, 3 plates for reps. And I'm like, wow, I like a good full squat. I've seen that happen. But because I was always more of a bodybuilder, because I was always more about growing muscle, I was always fascinated with guys getting strong, but I was always more interested in building muscle. So if I had a choice, I would look, I get, because you look at bodybuilders you're like, oh, he looks so strong. But to compare to powerlifters that don't look good, they just, those guys are fucking, those are the guys that are bench pressing 700 pounds, right? And deadlifting 700 pounds, all that crap. I would probably go with looking weak and I mean being weak and looking strong, if that makes sense. But it's not like bodybuilders are weak. I mean, they're not weak. They're just not powerlifting weak. But I guess that makes sense because I was always more interested in bodybuilding and the sport of bodybuilding and building muscle and being in shape and so on and so forth. Um, if I was younger and I was naturally strong, I probably would have went the powerlifting route. But because I always had like a pleasing physique, I went the bodybuilding route, if that makes sense. All right, Fran. We got another question from Fran is the man. Let's see. Okay. Fran is the man. What was your max bench press? Oh, your bench press, squat, and deadlift when you first started. When I first started lifting, I didn't even deadlift or squat. I was in high school. And to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what it was when I was that young. I remember I had like one of those in home gyms, and there was like a Wheater bench, and there was like the skinny home bar. It wasn't even like the Olympic bar. And I remember the biggest plates I had was like 35s. And I knew I used to rep that up, but it's nothing. But to answer the question, at my best squat was always my best lift because I always have good legs and they're short. I have short legs and a longer torso, but my legs were always powerful. My best squat was like one rep was 545. My best bench for one rep was 405. For some reason, I was always better at dumbbell pressing with bench than regular bench. I don't know why. Don't ask me. My best bench with dumbbells was 150-pound dumbbells for 3 reps or 4 reps, something like that, which doesn't really change. And my best deadlift, I was never a great deadlifter either. So my best deadlift was, I think, 4 plates and quarters. And I used to do sumo squats. I was just more comfortable doing sumo squats, listen to me, sumo deadlifts. I was more comfortable doing sumo deadlifts than regular deadlifts, right? Um, when every time I did a regular deadlift, it would bother my back or whatever. And then I remember about when I was in my late 30s, I transitioned to sumo deadlifts. I was able to deadlift a lot more without the pain. Some people say, "Oh, it's cheating," so on and so forth. I don't. And then it got to the point where if I wanted to build my back, I wouldn't deadlift. I would rack pull. Okay, I would deadlift once in a while. It got to that point because I was able to rack pull more, and I was more interested in building a back instead of being very strong. Right. So that's your answer to that question. And here is another question from Fran is the man. Do you think Big Ramy is officially done competing? Yes. I think when you take this much time off of competing, you get out of the zone. It's very difficult, especially a guy like Big Ramy who makes a lot of money, living very comfortable. I believe he has invested his money, if correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure, in fishing in his country. He has several boats. So he makes good money. He makes good money as a bodybuilder, I'm sure he's still endorsed by certain companies. But when you take yourself out of that mole, I don't know. If you take yourself out of that drive, if you will, like you got a diet, putting a bulking diet, bulking, getting ready, blah, blah, blah. I gotta do the show to qualify for the Olympia. I gotta defend my Olympia time. Once you get a year or two out of that, especially as you get older, it gets very, very difficult to get back into that same mindset. Because especially somebody like Big Ramy, who has basically reached the pinnacle of his of bodybuilding, which is Mr. Olympia, two times, and that can never be taken away from him. Like he's got nothing to prove. So even the drive to prove something isn't there because he was best in the world for 2 years in a row, right? So no, I don't think he's gonna be competing again. And if he does, I don't think he's gonna be do as good as he used to. It always happens that way. Anytime we see a person take several times off, some time off, and they come back after a couple of years, it's never the same. Even Phil, after I think he took a year or two off, and then he came back and he came in third, and that was like a gift, you know. Phil Heath, I'm talking about. It's always the case, you know. We saw it with Kevin Levrone, right? You know, he came back after I don't know how many years, and he wasn't even close, you know, to what he used to be. So yeah, I think he's done. Okay, last question, and this is a really really interesting question from Fran is the man because I'm starting to think Fran is a freak. So Fran asks, would you start an OnlyFans if there were enough interest from men/women? No, no, Fran, I'm not a slut. Okay, and actually, let me rephrase that. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not gonna. I have some morals, even though it doesn't seem that way. Nah, man, I would not be comfortable doing something like that, bro. Really, I really wouldn't. I really would not be comfortable doing something like that. You know, nah, nah, I can't do that. I can't. I mean, I got to be naked or I got to have sex with, you know. Plus, you know what? It's going to be gay guys paying for it, right? It's not going to be women. Women don't go on those sites. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the stat is that the majority of people that go on OnlyFans and pay are men. I think it's 70%. Pretty sure. You know, so it's got to be mostly gay. Not that I have anything against gay guys. It's just that I don't need gay guys chasing me, you know. Fran, you're disgusting. Anyway, that's the end of Anabolic Academy. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember to send me questions because I love getting all these questions and answering them. And you know I'm going to answer them honestly because that's how I am. So, like, share, subscribe, tell everybody. All right. Till next time. Peace.